Have you ever had one of those really strong gut feelings?
Yeah,
Not just feeling a bit uneasy, but like a really sharp sense that something is genuinely wrong.
definitely. It's undeniable sometimes.
And then later you look back and think, wow, that feeling, that sort of internal alarm, maybe that's what actually saved me from something bad.
Yeah.
We're always told, push past fear, conquer it. But what if fear isn't actually a weakness?
What if it's a gift?
Exactly. What if it's one of our most powerful, maybe overlooked gifts? So today we're doing a deep dive into Gavin de Becker's really important book, The Gift of Fear, Survival Signals that Protect Us from Violence.
Mm-hmm.
And this isn't about making you more anxious or anything. It's more about unlocking how our own intuition, the stuff we often ignore, can be, well, our best defense.
Like a built-in technology?
Yeah, a fantastic built-in technology. We're going to pull out the most crucial bits from the material you've given us.
The goal is to help you learn to spot those subtle signs, understand a bit about the psychology involved, and, feel more empowered.
Feel safer, more confident navigating the world.
It's such an empowering idea, isn't it? Because we do dismiss those signals so often.
All the time.
But de Becker says, no, these are vital. So our mission here is really to give you practical tools.
Right.
You'll figure out how to actually use this often misunderstood emotion, not just to survive, honestly, but to really thrive by sort of seeing potential danger ahead of time.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's dive right into that core idea. Fear. It's not some, evolutionary mistake.
No, not at all.
It's engineered, right? A signal mechanism. Our sources call it a fantastic tool for survival,
Mm-hmm. Built right in.
designed to predict hazards and keep us alert. But de Becker makes a really key distinction here, doesn't he?
Oh, absolutely. And this is maybe one of the biggest takeaways from the whole book. We mix up real fear with just worrying. So, true fear, the way de Becker describes it, is primal. It's about present danger. It's a direct response, sometimes subconscious, to something real around you, even if your logical brain hasn't caught up.
Like a jolt.
Exactly. Pure information. Worrying, though, that's all in your head.
Right.
It's imagining bad stuff that hasn't happened, building anxieties about the future. Often it's manufactured.
And the problem is,
We spend so much energy worrying about things that frankly never happen that we often tune out the genuine signals of real fear when they do show up.
and that's the tricky part, isn't it? Because we humans, we seem almost wired to doubt our own intuition.
Yeah, we do.
We question those gut feelings. We want proof or external validation or some neat logical reason before we listen to ourselves.
Unlike animals, they just react.
Right. De Becker nails this when he says, even when intuition speaks in the clearest terms,
Mm.
we may still seek an outside opinion before we'll listen to ourselves.
So true.
It's like we need permission to trust our own internal alarm system. And that hesitation, that can be really dangerous.
It really can. And the book uses some powerful real-life stories to show this. Remember the one about the woman? A stranger offers to help with her groceries.
Yeah. Seemed nice on the surface.
Totally. Charming, polite, but she gets this immediate, wave of fear, just pure intuition screaming, "Get out!"
Even with no obvious reason.
None at all. But she listened, dropped the bags, ran, found out later she was a known predator.
Wow.
So it's not about being paranoid. It's recognizing that our subconscious is processing tons of subtle stuff all the time. Tiny expressions, body language shifts, tone.
So if we don't consciously register,
Exactly. And that gut feeling, that's often your brain's quick summary of all that data, an aha moment that can literally save you.
okay, so if our brains are doing all that analysis anyway, does that mean we're sort of naturally equipped to predict danger, even violence?
De Becker makes a strong case that yes, we absolutely are.
The Academy of Prediction.
That's what he calls it. From day one, we're in this academy unconsciously learning about people, about behavior.
Yeah.
We watch, we learn patterns, we build this internal database.
So predicting violence isn't some weird psychic thing.
Not at all. It's an inherent skill we have, but we often just, push it down.
And that changes how we should think about violence itself, right? We hear random, senseless acts.
And those are the scariest.
Yeah. But de Becker argues, hold on, they're not random or senseless, not to the person doing it.
Right. There's always a purpose, a meaning for the perpetrator. And that's a huge difference between, say, an animal predator and a human one.
How so?
Well, an animal hunts for food, survival. A human predator, often it's about power, control, getting some specific outcome.
Okay, that reframes it.
Completely. It helps you move past this idea of just pure random evil and lets you start looking for the human signals that come before these acts.
Which leads to another really important point, this myth of the criminal mind.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Our sources are clear. Perpetrators aren't some different species. They're people.
Just people. It's not like they have a fundamentally different brain.
In fact, there's that striking quote from Carl Menninger mentioned in the sources.
Everyone's mind is criminal. We're all capable of criminal fantasies and thoughts.
Whoa! Now, that doesn't mean we all act on them, obviously.
Of course not.
But it shows the capacity is, well, potentially there in all of us under certain conditions. And understanding that isn't about making excuses.
No, it's about demystifying it. It helps you focus on the behaviors, the human signals, instead of getting lost in some abstract idea of evil.
And that's where our predictive ability comes back in, and why it's so useful.
Exactly. If violent people are just people, then their behaviors, even the bad ones, are detectable.
Because we understand people.
We understand human interaction deep down.
Yeah.
So we can spot danger, we can avoid it, if we learn to read these specific signals. These pre-incident indicators.
Right, the clues they often give off without realizing it.
And this is where Becker gets really practical. He gives us actual tools. He calls them survival signals, or PINs.
PINs, pre-incident indicators.
Yep. And these aren't just vague feelings. They're specific, recognizable things. Subtle cues, manipulative tactics that attackers often use.
To get control, disarm you, test you.
All of the above. And recognizing them can be, well, absolutely crucial.
Okay, so let's talk about some of these PINs. What's a common one?
One of the most frequent and kind of sneaky is forced teaming.
Forced teaming.
Yeah. This is where someone tries to manufacture instant rapport, like a false sense of partnership.
How do they do that?
They might say things like, hey, we're in the same boat here, right? Or, looks like we both want the same thing, using we a lot.
Creating an us.
Exactly, to make you lower your guard, feel like you're on their side, but it's totally self-serving. It plays on our natural instinct to cooperate.
And that often comes packaged with something else, right? Something we're taught to like. Charm and niceness.
Oh, definitely. And Becker's quote here is so important. Niceness does not equal goodness.
Say that again.
Niceness does not equal goodness. Niceness is a decision, a strategy of social interaction. It is not a character trait.
Wow. That's huge.
It is. Someone can be incredibly charming, super nice, but it's just a strategy, a tool, a mask to hide their real intentions and make you doubt your gut feeling.
Okay, what else? What other signals?
Well, another big one is giving too much detail or offering unsolicited promises.
Too much detail, like over-explaining.
Yeah, if someone's telling you way more than you need to know for a simple request or interaction, justifying themselves constantly, that can be a flag.
Why?
Because truth usually doesn't need that much selling. It's simple. Elaborate justifications can be suspicious.
And unsolicited promises.
Like someone saying, don't worry, I promise I'll just be a second, or I'll make sure you get home safe when you haven't even asked or shown concern. It's often a way to preemptively smooth over your natural caution.
And maybe one of the most blatant ones, discounting no.
Oh, absolutely critical. This is huge. When you set a boundary, you say no, clearly.
And they just ignore it.
Or minimize it, steamroll over it, try to argue you out of it. Whether it's pushy or subtle, if someone doesn't respect your no,
That's a massive red flag.
it's a fundamental disrespect for your boundaries, your autonomy. That's a sign they might not respect your safety either. Your internal alarm should be screaming then.
Are there others? You mentioned pens, plural.
Yeah, there are a few others he details, like typecasting.
What's that?
It's basically using a slight insult to get you to react and engage. Like, oh, you're probably too good to talk to someone like me, huh? They hope you'll jump to prove them wrong.
Manipulation.
Definitely. And loan sharking, doing some small, often unsolicited favor and then acting like you owe them big time, creates a sense of obligation.
Okay.
But the main point with all these pins is, if you're feeling that fear, that hesitation, look for these specific behaviors. They help you understand why your intuition is sounding the alarm.
Okay, so we have these signals, this understanding. How do we actually apply this stuff in, real life, different situations?
Well, a really practical starting point is learning to tell the difference between what Becker calls real threats and empty threats.
Okay, how do you do that?
It's actually quite insightful. Real threats, he says, usually don't come with conditions, no ifs, ands, or buts. Meaning the person making a real threat often doesn't make a lot of noise about it first. They might just act decisively, think quiet determination.
Okay. And empty threats.
Almost always conditional. If you leave me out, or unless you give me X, then Y will happen. The conditions are the giveaway.
What do the conditions tell you?
They tell you the person's main goal right then is probably not immediate violence, but control, manipulation, getting you to do something.
Ah, I see. So recognizing that helps you figure out how to react, whether it's immediate self-protection or dealing with coercion.
Exactly. It allows for a much more strategic, less panicked response.
That distinction feels incredibly relevant when you think about relationship violence, intimate enemies, as the sources put it.
Tragically relevant, yes.
The sources talk about tactics like isolation, control, mind games, gaslighting. And that statistic is horrifying, about women being beaten every few seconds.
It's staggering. And these situations rarely just start with physical violence.
Right, they begin much earlier, with warning signs maybe being ignored.
Exactly. Like isolation, it might start very subtly. A partner saying, oh, let's just stay in, just us, or making you feel guilty for seeing friends. It's framed as love, but it slowly cuts off your support system.
That's a PIS, essentially. Controlling behavior disguised.
Precisely. Or stalking. It's often dismissed early on, maybe as just being persistent or overly romantic.
Like that example of the woman getting unwanted gifts and letters.
Yeah, she didn't see it as stalking initially, but it was someone refusing to accept boundaries, a huge warning sign. Your gut feeling about those early erosions of your space and choices, that's vital information.
And these ideas, they stretch into the workplace too, right? Workplace safety.
Absolutely. Occupational hazards aren't just about slipping on a wet floor. They can come from people, coworkers, customers.
So what's the takeaway there?
The sources stress having clear procedures, encouraging open communication, and importantly, training people to recognize warning signs.
Training. Like what?
Like training managers to notice shifts in behavior. Maybe someone becomes withdrawn or has sudden outbursts or gets really fixated on a perceived injustice.
Being proactive, not reactive.
Exactly. Some companies even use interview questions to gauge how people handle stress. Asking things like, tell me about a time you dealt with a really difficult interpersonal situation. It's about building awareness.
And for kids, the advice seems to be shifting away from just stranger danger.
Yes, thankfully. Becker pushes for teaching kids about tricky people.
Tricky people. What's the difference?
It focuses on behavior, not just appearance. Strangers aren't always dangerous, and sadly, dangers can come from people kids know.
So you teach them behavioral red flags.
Right, like someone asking them to keep secrets from parents, or asking a kid for help when an adult normally wouldn't, or trying to get them alone. It empowers kids to trust their feelings, their own intuition if something feels weird or wrong, regardless of who the person is, and fostering open communication so they can tell you.
It sounds like Becker also takes a critical look at the systems meant to protect us, like the justice system.
He does. He points out that things like restraining orders, while intended to help, sometimes aren't enough.
How so?
They can sometimes even escalate things by angering a determined person without offering real physical protection. His point is broader, though.
Which is?
That there needs to be a much deeper, more nuanced understanding of violence and predictors within law enforcement, within the legal system, more training on behavioral cues, moving beyond just reacting after the fact.
Okay, so wrapping this all up,
Yeah.
we've really dug into this powerful idea. Fear isn't the enemy.
It's a guide, a gift.
Yeah, a genuine gift. And when you learn to listen to it, combine it with your intuition, it really does empower you to, well, predict and maybe even prevent violence.
We've talked about decoding those survival signals, those pillins.
And how to use these insights everywhere. Personal safety, relationships, work.
So if fear really is this incredible compass, this guide for your safety, maybe the question to leave you with is this.
Okay.
How can you start, fine-tuning your own internal navigation system day to day?
Not just for the big danger.
No, not just the extreme stuff. Think about the subtle threats, too. Threats to your well-being, your boundaries, your peace of mind. What steps could you take starting now to trust that intuition more, not just to get by, but to really live more fully, more confidently?